Alright, folks, I'm back once again here on the game show Fun Zone. As we get ready to play Mount Wheel of Fortune, we're going to get ready to do my next game of Jeopardy for the Xbox 360 here on the game show Fun Zone. And so far, in 4 games, I've won $72,000. Let's see if we can add on to that. Here we go.
This is Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestants. Player 1. Player 2. Player 3. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
Thank you, Johnny Gilbert, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And
Here we go.
Let's take you right now into the Jeopardy round. Clues are worth $200 to $1,000 in these categories. Manimal.
And in quotation marks.
Sherlock Holmes. Washington, Lincoln, or Obama. Book learning. State capitals. And tongue twisters. Player 1, make a selection, please. In a Rudyard Kipling story, one of these animals saves a family from a deadly cobra. Okay, player 1.
What is mule?
Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct
response? You can
response?
probably tell it's been a while since I've done this game.
Here's the correct response. A mongoose. Player 1, a rhesus or a macaque? Let's hear it, player 1.
What is a monkey?
That's correct. Great, you're back into it now.
Animal 600.
Player 1. Of the 3 animals on Ontario, Canada's coat of arms, the one that fits the category. Okay, player 1.
Moose. Yep. Mammal 800.
Player 1. The scarlet species of this tropical flyer is known for its brilliant plumage and strong voice. Player 1.
What is a macaw?
Right.
Mammal 1000.
You again. We're sure you'll just love Ondatra zebethicus, this rodent. Okay, player 1.
What is a muskrat?
Right. Player 1, back to you.
Twisters for 200.
She sells seashells by this location.
What is the seashore?
It's player 1. That is correct. Player 1. In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, these windy storms hardly ever happen. Player 1.
What are hurricanes? Tongue twisters for 600.
Player 1. One of these animals sat on a stump, and thunk the stump stunk. It's player 1.
What is a skunk?
Right.
Tongue twisters 8.
Player 1. These animals shouldn't sleep in a shack. These animals should sleep in a shed. It's player 1.
What are sheep? Yes. Tongue twisters for 1,000.
Selecting the sawingest saw I ever saw was the saw I saw in this land of opportunity state. Let's hear it, player 1.
What is South Dakota?
No, that's not right. Anyone else? Yes, player 3. Right.
Arkansas. Oh.
Player 3. You're in command of the board
Sherlock
as we
Holmes
continue,
200.
right? His second spin as Sherlock Holmes was subtitled A Game of Shadows. Okay, player 1.
Who is Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes. Player 1, you start.
Book learning 200.
Her Little Women appeared in 1868. A mere 127 years later, her A Long Fatal Love Chase arrived. Yes, player 1?
Who is Louisa May Alcott?
Right.
Book learning for 400.
Player 1. In addition to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, he wrote an 1887 story on the Civil War, North against South. The correct response is Jules Verne.
Book learning for 600.
Player 1. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others, in a 1945 book by this author. Let's hear it, player 1.
Who is C.S. Lewis?
Sorry, that's wrong.
Not him.
Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? We're talking about George Orwell.
Oh.
Player 1, back to
Okay,
you.
state capitals for 200.
The old barracks in this New Jersey capital housed Continental Army troops during the Revolution. It's player 1.
What is Trenton?
Good.
State capitals for
Player 1. The site for this capital was chosen because of its location between Pensacola and St. Augustine. It's player 1.
Was Jackson?
No. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the correct response. Tallahassee.
Okay, state capitals for 600.
Player 1. At an elevation of about 7,000 feet, this city in New Mexico's Sangre de Cristo Mountains is the highest state capital. Yes, player 1?
What is Albuquerque?
That's not it.
No, down 2,600.
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the response we were looking for. Santa Fe.
Either that or Albuquerque, and I chose the
Select
wrong
again.
one. Book learning.
In 1840, he hit a bumpo in the road and penned The Pathfinder. Yes, player 1?
Who's James Fenimore Cooper?
That is correct.
There we go. Book learning for 1,000.
Player 1. In 1863, this Russian wrote The Cossacks, a short novel based on his travels with the army. Okay, player 3? No.
15, no.
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's what we wanted. Leo Tolstoy.
Okay. State capital.
Player 1. When Kansas became a state in 1861, this city became capital. Yes, player 1?
Is Wichita? Oh! No.
Anyone else?
Once again, choice between two, and once again I chose the wrong city.
Yes, player 2.
It's
No?
not Kansas City, that's in Missouri.
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 3.
Topeka was what.
Right. Player 3, you start.
State capitals for 1,000.
2 state capitals with city in their names lie west of the Rocky Mountains. Salt Lake City and this one. Here's the correct response. Carson City.
Carson City.
We return to you, player 3.
Sherlock Holmes for 400.
He first played Sherlock Holmes on film in 1939. Let's hear it, player 1.
Who is Rathbone? Yes. Sherlock Holmes for 6.
All right. This star of Lawrence of Arabia voiced Sherlock Holmes for a series of cartoons in the 1980s. Yes, player 2.
Peter O'Toole?
Yep.
Yes.
A lot of clues, a lot of categories. Player 2.
100.
Make us. This one-time Willy Wonka took on the title role in 1975's The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother. Let's hear it, player 1.
Who's Gene Wilder?
Yep.
All right. Sherlock Holmes for 1,000.
Player 1. Before Rain Man, he directed Young Sherlock Holmes, in which Holmes and Watson meet as boys at boarding school. Okay, player 1.
Who's Sidney Pollack?
No, that's not. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 3.
Barry Levinson.
Right.
Yeah, that was what we did. All right, one category
Player 3,
still in
you
play.
start. Was born a British subject. Okay, player 3.
Washington.
Correct.
Yeah.
Select again. The tallest. Here's the response we were looking for. Abraham Lincoln. Player 3, you pick again, please.
600.
Never lived in Illinois. Yes, player 3.
It was Obama.
Any other takers?
Who's
Let's hear it,
Lincoln?
player 1.
No, that one was Washington.
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Let's hear it, player 2. Good. And you're back into some money. Okay, let's get back into this. Player 2,
800.
you make the next selection as we went to Occidental College and Columbia University. Player 2.
Washington?
No, that's not right.
No.
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Yes, player 1.
Lincoln? No. That one was
Any
Obama.
other takers? Yes, player 3. Yeah! Correct. Let's have a look at
And
the
the
$1,000.
final clue on the board for this round is the Daily Double.
the Daily Double. You are in the lead right now. What are you going to wager? Answer, received a patent.
Who's Lincoln?
You have maintained
Yes,
your lead.
that was Lincoln. So that takes him to $2,800.
The selection is yours, player
and
two.
lead.
When you return
At the end
from
of
this
the
break.
round, I'm in second place with 1,400, and player 3 is in third place with -400.
Let's see
Well,
what
let's
happens
see
in
if
Double
my
Jeopardy with
score
these
situation
categories awaiting
changes
players.
in Double Jeopardy. The categories are
Proverbs,
Proverbs,
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. He was president when? Somewhere. Death of an author. And insect invasion.
Alright, where are
Hey,
we
it's
starting?
still anyone's game, and player two, you get to select. As a solo artist, his presenters were ex-bandmates, not the Beatles, but the Traveling Wilburys. Let's hear it, player one.
Who's Ringo Starr? Not starting off
Anyone
this
else?
round very good either.
Player three?
Paul McCartney,
Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Yes, player two.
no. George Harrison.
Right, you're out of
I
the
didn't
hole.
think it was him.
Player two, back to you. In 1986, it was Hail, Hail, this 1950s performer, the very first inductee. Yes, player three?
Chuck Berry.
That's right, way to go.
Yeah.
Player three, make a selection, please, as we continue. She died on July 18, 1817, after dealing with some pride and prejudice in her day.
Who was Jane Austen?
Let's hear it, player one. That's right, way to go. Player one, make a
Proverbs
selection,
400.
please. It seldom knocks twice. It's player one.
What is opportunity?
Yes.
Proverbs 800.
Select a close only counts in this backyard game.
What is horseshoes?
It's player one. Good for you.
Proverbs 12.
Player one, there is honor, even among these. Okay, player three?
They're liars.
No. Anyone else? It's player one.
There are thieves. Proverbs for 16.
You get to marry in haste and do this at leisure. We're talking about repent.
Yes, repent. Okay, Proverbs for 2000.
Player one. Alexander Pope wrote, "Hope springs eternal in the human this." Let's hear it, player two.
His breasts.
You got it.
Yeah. Alright, where are we going
Where
now?
do we begin, player two?
Insect invasion for 400.
Responsible for millions of cases of malaria each year, the Anopheles variety of this insect is one deadly bug. Yes, player one?
What is mosquito?
Good for you.
Okay, definitely off for 800.
Player one. On September 28, 1891, he died in New York City after a whale of a life. Player one?
Who is Herman Melville?
Yes.
Definitely off for 1200.
You again.
Answer, one of the two daily doubles.
Answer. The first of the two daily doubles. You are currently in the
Let's
lead.
go for
So, what's your
$3,000.
wager?
For a total of 8,000 if I'm right.
Okay,
Here's
here is the
the
clue.
clue.
No amount of electricity could reanimate her on February 1st, 1851.
Who is Mary Shelley?
That puts you even further
right.
ahead.
Up to 8,000.
You again, player
Definitely
one.
for 16.
After October 19th, 1745, he would make no more modest proposals. It's player three.
Who's Jonathan Swift?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back into this. Player three,
For
you make the
2000.
next selection as we... It was this author, not the wallpaper, who went on November 30th, 1900.
Exactly 54 years before my dad was born.
Here's the response we were looking for. Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde was what we needed.
We return to you, player three.
Somewhere for 400.
This strike-slip fault that runs through California is named for a lake that's in the rift. Let's hear it, player one.
What is Tahoe?
No, sorry. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? We're talking about San Andreas.
Oh. San Andreas.
Select again.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 12.
Artists become eligible this many years after their first release. The Beach Boys went in 1988. Springsteen in 1999. It's player three.
Is 5?
No, that's not right. Anyone else? Here's the correct response. 25.
25 years after
Player
the first
three,
release.
back to you for our next
Second
selection.
Division 300.
About 300,000 people in Africa suffer from sleeping sickness, spread by the tsetse variety of this insect. Okay, player one.
What is the tick?
Sorry, that's incorrect. Any other takers? Okay, player two.
Fly?
Yep.
Once again, 50-50.
Player
I chose
two,
the wrong
you start.
one. Except Division
There are
12.
20,000 known species of these insects, including social, parasitic, and killer types. Player one,
What are bees?
that's correct.
There we go. Insect invasion for 16.
Player one, puny nickname for various insects of the family Sciaridae. Here's what we were looking for, the gnat.
Oh, the gnat. Insect invasion 2000.
You again, of the 1 million species of insects, more than 300,000 are of this type, including the ladybug. Let's hear it, player one.
What are beetles?
That's it.
Yes. Up to 10,000 now.
Player one, pick again.
Somewhere for 800.
We are volunteering the information that Klingman's Dome is the highest point in this state.
What is Tennessee?
Let's hear it, player one. Yes.
All right. Somewhere for
Player
1200.
one. Johann Strauss Jr. conducted the Blue Danube Waltz publicly for the first time at a February 1867 concert in this city. Let's hear it, player three.
Is Vienna? Yes.
Where do we begin, player three?
Somewhere for 16.
Dating from medieval times, Gamla Stan, Old Town, is the cradle of this Scandinavian capital. Player one?
What is Helsinki?
Sorry. Anyone else care to try to come up with a correct response? Here's the correct response. Stockholm.
Stockholm. Oh.
You again, player three.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for
This
60.
singer is paired with her ex-husband and songwriting partner, Jerry Goffin. It's player 2.
Carly Simon.
Sorry.
No,
That's wrong. Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? The correct response
That
is
singer
Carole
is
King.
Carole King.
Please pick again, player 3.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 2000.
Here's Sarah.
The electric guitar casts a long shadow over rock and roll. In 1995, the Hall inducted this inventor of the iconic Stratocaster.
The correct response is Leo Fender.
Leo Fender.
You again, player 3.
President went for
E.T. the Extraterrestrial was released, grossing more than $300 million that year. It's player 1.
who is Ronald Reagan? Somewhere for 2000.
Player 1. Your income. Chisago is a county in this state, as is Hennepin. We're talking about Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. All right, 4 clues left.
Player 1, choose again. Here's Kelly, she'll show you.
He was president in 1906 when he proclaimed Devil's Tower in Wyoming the first national monument.
Here's what we wanted. Theodore Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. All right, good old Teddy Roosevelt.
Player 1.
1200.
The Telstar communications satellite relayed the first live TV pictures from the United States to Europe. Here's the response we were looking for. John Kennedy.
John Kennedy. All right. 1600.
Player 1. The U.S. merchant ship Mayaguez was seized by Cambodian forces. U.S. forces rescued the crew of 39. Yes, player 1?
Who's Richard Nixon?
No. Sorry.
Down to 8,000.
Anyone else want to hazard a guess on this? Here's the response we were looking for. Gerald Ford.
Gerald Ford was what we needed. And now the last
the
clue of the
$2,000
round, which
clue.
is the other daily double.
The second
I have
daily double.
$8,000
You are
for
in
the
first
risk.
place. Decide on your wager, player
Go for
1.
2,000.
Answer. The Alien and Sedition Acts were adopted by Congress.
Who is Thomas Jefferson?
Even so, you are
No.
still in the lead. We're talking about John Adams.
John Adams was who we needed. So that takes me down
I'll
to
see you all for Final
$6,000.
Jeopardy in just a
And
moment.
that takes us to Final Jeopardy.
So much depends
And our
on
Final
how you
Jeopardy
do in the
category
Final Jeopardy
today
category,
is-
which today is
Traveling the globe.
What are you going to wager?
I'll go for the whole thing.
And
Alright,
who
here's the
reads?
Final Jeopardy answer.
Flying due west from Los Angeles, it's the first foreign country you would reach.
What is Japan?
What did
Player
you
2,
say?
your response, what is Japan?
And this correct
You're right,
response
and
will
you're going to double
bring
your
us to
score. You go to $2,400. Player 3, did
And
you say
your
Japan?
response?
Yes, you did.
And that
And
correct
you're
response
going to add 2,405. That'll bring you to
What did you say?
$6,005. And I said Japan.
How much do you
And I'm going to
reckon
double my
that correct
money.
response?
I go up to $12,000 for today.
Wow!
And now for 5
Congratulations to
days,
you.
a total of $84,000. And
So long,
I get
everybody.
to come back and do it again next time on Jeopardy. So long, everybody.